Why do you need representation in a real estate transaction? Let's find out. Chris Miller, Win-Win Real Estate, with another edition of Ask the LV House Guy. You know, over the last couple of weeks, I've heard from two different people who have gone into a real estate transaction without representation, and they've had questions about the process. One of them entered into a contract with a developer for a new home. The other one entered into a contract with a for sale by owner private transaction, and they both had questions and concerns about where it was going. Unfortunately, because they didn't come to a real estate agent like me first, it's kind of not ethical or proper for me to represent them in that transaction once the transaction is started. Now, there are some ways around that, and if the other side agrees, but most of the time that doesn't happen. So, moral of the story is, find out why you need representation first, and here's why. You need someone to represent your interests, your needs, and what you want at the end of this transaction. Someone that's taking care of you. Now, let's talk about the two different transactions and why that's necessary. In a new home development with a new build, you want to make sure, number one, you get the right deal, the best negotiating. You also want to know about buyer incentives. They're out there, particularly with the changing market we're in right now. There are some more buyer incentives that could be available that you need to know to ask for. And if you don't need to know how to ask for them or what to ask for, you're not going to get them. My job. You also want to make sure that you guide them through the long process of a new build, because it can be quite long. There can be supply chain issues that affect not only the length of the build, but also the materials that might have to be changed in your home to get it done, and how that might affect the price, or should you renegotiate part of what that is when they come to you with a different product to go in your home. On a private transaction, whether for sale by owner or any type of private transaction, you want to make sure that, number one, you have the right price. Do you know what the home next door sold for last month? Do you know what the home down the street sold for 2 months ago? All of those things factor into what's the best price for you to pay for that home, so you're getting the best value of the current market. Next, you have to talk about disclosures. You know, disclosures aren't there just for the fun of it. They're there because they're legally required by the state of Nevada, and they're in statute that certain things are done to protect both the seller and you as the buyer. You want to make sure those are all done and taken care of. You want to talk about a home inspection. You want to talk about a home warranty. You want to talk about repairs that you might want to have done. All of those things factor into a private transaction. And at the end of the day, whether it's a private transaction or a new home development or any type of transaction, we all know there are hiccups and stuff that happens along the way, and you want to get to the closing in the best amount of time with the least amount of problems, or problems taken care of by the professional. And that's what we as real estate agents are here for. So if you have any questions on that process, or just want a real estate question in general, please reach out. MillerPropertiesVegas@gmail.com. MillerPropertiesVegas@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Chris Miller, Win-Win Real Estate, with another edition of Ask the LV House Guy.